At the beginning of last century, the city of Bilbao was already at the vanguard of Spanish industry. In 1901, mining engineer Juan de Urrutia founds the Sociedad Hidroeléctrica Ibérica, with its main activity in the Ebro River basin. It was a time period full of promises and open to new initiatives.
Indeed, life here was very pleasant. The children enjoyed themselves because there were about 50 families of similar age with children. It was as if they had 50 fathers and mothers. The people of Alcántara and the entire region were given a social security number for the first time ever.
People call it their house. That means they're really part of the company.
To work for the company. When someone asked them what they wanted to be, they'd say it was like having a degree in higher education. We all want to work for Hidroeléctrica.
Everybody gets involved because they feel it's part of them.
Like my dad.
And my youngest daughter, a veterinarian, used to say, I want to be a vet for Hidroeléctrica. In other words, everyone wanted to work for Hidroeléctrica.
Civil engineer José Orbegozo's goal was to obtain electrical power at the basin of the Duero River. Ricobayo will become the first in a series of dams, whose objective was the exploitation of the Duero River. The project implied an energy supply 5 times larger than the demand that existed at that time in Spain. A historic event was now taking place, the merger between these two large companies under the new name of Iberduero. Aldeadávila became operational in 1962. Its plant, the largest in Western Europe at that time, generated as much power as all the Iberduero plants combined.
If the dams hadn't been built right then, it would be impossible to do any sailing now. The dams enabled navigation, which in turn enabled economic development and tourism in regions where there was none before. We now have nests of black storks, Egyptian vultures, golden eagles and tawny vultures. This is one of the largest reservations for birds and species that have become extinct in the rest of Europe, but have remained perfectly well here. Iberdrola trains its staff extensively from the very first day.
The company set up a school for professional training.
What we always have in mind is that safety comes first.
Teachers in those days had considerable influence in the education of children, and more in this case as they had the backing of all the parents. In other words, they were like parents to the children.
There are some 33,000 of us employees in the whole world, and our people are being kept updated in new technologies, in new work methods.
Last year we devoted around 1.2 million hours to training, which represents more or less 40 hours per person.
And there are other important percentages like the 9% we devote to learning languages.
We are talking about millions of euros. Practically 98% of the staff has gone through these centres. I was totally impressed by that professional culture that is so unique, so different from others. In the company in Bilbao, for example, one had to take a competitive examination to get the job, which ends up giving rise to a special culture. many of the people who work for the company have roots, origins, and links through their parents or grandparents who worked there in the past.
My whole life I've had a family relationship with the company. My father feels proud talking about Iberdrola. Well, he was a meter reader. He was a company director here in Bilbao. Nowadays, women are just as important as anyone else. The number of women in the company, I think if you work and obtain results, is high in the Spanish market, if not the highest. Women in all sorts of jobs, some of them executives, others department heads.
For each person who works in the company, we give work to 10 people who work outside.
Our company has pioneered the continuous work days throughout the year.
And that has been very beneficial for the employees and for the company as well.
In the institution of support for maternity leave for pregnant women, something that affected me personally.
I think the level of satisfaction is very important to workers.
Future mothers enjoy a series of rights that also apply to male workers.
Our approach to organic expansion was to do things we know how to do, to go back to our origins, to produce, generate and distribute energy, while staying away from speculative operations. In 2001, 99% of our income was generated in Spain. We began to feel this might be a risky situation in a global market. Therefore, we went to the United Kingdom and joined Scottish Power, which is one of the large British electricity companies. We also engaged in a big expansion in the United States.
Business transformation here in Iberdrola USA was huge, and we had a lot of great results.
The focus changed from an organization that was based on cost to more of a focus on efficiency.
I really enjoy working with Iberdrola. It's a great company. It's the mindset, the safety, everything. They don't just preach it, they do it. There's a lot of help with the company. If I need something as far as anything, I mean, there's always someone there.
No Brasil, as empresas distribuidoras que fazem parte do grupo Iberdrola possuem diversas tarifas sociais que facilitam o fornecimento.
An excellent example of this is Scottish Power's relationship with Cancer Research UK. Through a variety of initiatives such as fundraising events across the business.
E participam também de programa de eletrificação rural.
The introduction of a discounted energy product and the distribution of health advice across the company.
Looking towards the future, the company is undoubtedly very seriously committed towards innovation, which is one of its leading criteria.
And that is why we are devoting every year about 140 million euros to research and development and innovation.
Iberdrola is currently involved in tidal power projects, and it might be possible to commercialize it in the near future for tidal power to become another source of renewable energy.
I became a shareholder of the company when it turned 100 years old. At the time, the company gave a gift to all its employees, 100 shares each.
The disposition of shares to the employee, it was a type of savings plan. This is a differentiating factor.
It strengthened our bonds with the company, even in the economic field.
Even if I didn't work for this company, I'd be a shareholder, as many other people. Because with my pension plus my shares, well, I lead a good life with no major financial complaints.
Because I know the company guidelines and what its goals are and what I'm investing in.
They cover everything. As a shareholder, I know that we are sort of competing in the big league.
Ethics calls for sharing a series of mutual values. For us, these values are work, honesty, loyalty, and teamwork for the benefit of the company of which we are a part.
Although I've had polio since I was 8 months old, I've always wanted to sail. Sailing is what I love doing in life. 3 years ago, Iberdrola integrated us in its project by organizing a Paralympic team. This has fulfilled my dream of doing what I love, sailing. We train every day, 365 days a year. We receive financial, moral, and personal support from the company, without which we would not be here. It would be impossible.